Hey, Beetle Dustino coming at you with another video. Want to thank all my subscribers and all people returning to watch the video again. Please, just a reminder, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Please hit that notification bell to get notifications when I do release a new video. I do try to do about 2 a week. I do appreciate everybody that subscribed and just want to thank everybody for coming back. And we'll get into what we're going to talk about today. Today, I've been talking about that I'm going to kind of do some vinyl updates and that. I've got quite a stack sitting here. So I'm going to do a little Beatles vinyl update. So sit back and enjoy. So yeah, I've got quite a stack here of some new Beatles records. I've got CDs galore. I've always been a CD collector. It hasn't been until recently I've been an LP collector. I've talked before, my parents I've kind of inherited their record collection, and they had a few Beatles items on LP in there. They had the early Beatles, Hey Jude, Abbey Road. Yeah, I guess that was it. Yeah, I've always kind of wanted to expand on those. I told myself as I'm collecting the LPs, instead of, searching out the UK albums, because of course it did start collecting the Beatles, it was all on CD and it was all the UK stuff. So I decided I'm going to go kind of a different route and get to know finally the American albums. And so I've really been trying to seek out all the Capitol Records albums that I can. Just anything in between, of course, obviously solo career stuff and that. But anyways, I'll get going with what I've been finding here. And I'm going to start with my most recent finds. I was very excited to get these, especially the one. And after I got looking at the package on the other one, as I always say, I love good packaging. And I didn't realize how cool the package was on this one, because it looks kind of plain just looking at a picture of it online or whatever. But that'll be the one I'm going to start with. And that would be the Beatles Live at the Hollywood Bowl. So of course I've got the CD, the reissue of this. I think they just called it Live at the Hollywood Bowl 8 days a week, to promote the film there. But yeah, I finally found a nice copy of this. I've seen this before at the same record shop, but people have snatched it up from me since. And show you the spine here. Of course, the back. And this one is a gatefold. So let's take a look at that. And this is unlike that rock and roll music one, which I am going to show you that one again too, because that is a fairly recent find for me. But this one does really suit the Beatles on this one. And what surprised me on it is I didn't realize the detail that was in here. This is all kind of like shows the perforation on the ticket, and the tickets kind of stick out a little, kind of an embossed. I never say that word right. I don't know if I got it right. And even up here, the lettering up here is embossed, however you say that. But yeah, so I was a little impressed with this sleeve. I didn't realize it was this nice. Let's take a look at the record here. And it does got a really cool inner sleeve, of course, showing that absolutely berserk Beatlemania with all the young ladies losing their minds. As I haven't listened to the record yet, so I know the newer version, and it does sound all right. You still got all the screaming in that. Yeah, I have not heard this version yet, and bless his heart on George Martin there for trying to fix it and trying to get it cleaned up. I'm glad that he did come to produce it. But yeah, this looks like a very nice copy. Very glad to add this. It wasn't that expensive, so I'll give a shout out to the record shop on this here too. And this is Budget Music in Grand Forks, North Dakota. I'm one of my two locals. One cool thing about them, that just kind of visiting around and seeing some other record shops around, he's a pretty dedicated Beatles fan himself. He does have the Beatles stuff. Instead of having to dig through, the racks with everything else, he's got special little corner right kind of in the front of the store that he's got all the Beatles stuff kind of stashed at, so you don't have to go digging too hard if you're a Beatles fan just in trying to find some Beatles stuff. He's got it all right there, all the singles, CDs, solo stuff. It's all right there. I love it. You just walk in, go to the right, boom, you're right there. And you go digging for whatever he's got new. And he seems to keep a pretty good supply. I've found some surprising things there over the years. I'll kind of get into showing my collection one day and I'll talk about it. I try to remember where I pick everything up at. But just wanted to give him a little shout out on that and how cool that is that he keeps that like that. So another one I found in there that day, and this one was the one that really got me excited because I've kind of understood this one's a little harder to find. I know not quite as impossible as some of the even newer ones, but I know it was kind of at that point where the LPs were starting to really tank in sales, and the CDs were obviously on the rise, and cassettes at this time too were quite their peak too. So obviously not a lot of LPs were getting printed. And I was pretty excited to see this sitting there. And it was kind of funny because I'm just flipping through and I almost did a kind of a double take, like, wait, whoa, what did I just see? Kind of had to go back. But yeah, it's Flowers in the Dirt. A very nice copy of it. Now, one thing, as I just praised him on having such a nice section, he doesn't put everything in a sleeve sometimes. My Live at the Hollywood Bowl did have a plastic sleeve on it, so the price tag was on the sleeve. This one did not have a sleeve, and you would think one with a more premium price would be put in one, but he put the price tag on there, so I got to figure out how to get the price tag off of there. But yeah, a fairly nice copy in pretty good order here. Seems to have all the inserts and everything. Pull those out. Of course, the little booklet here in very good shape. Very interesting. Heavier sleeve here with just the yellow. And I'll show you the vinyl here. It looks to be in pretty good shape. Yeah, there's side one. This is, of course, a US one, so on Capital. I don't know if you can see that on there. But yeah, I was really excited to find that one. As soon as I saw it, once I realized after I flipped by it, I knew that one was going home with me for sure. Didn't want to spend a lot that day, but picked up a couple and definitely saw a lot more there that I'd like to go pick up. So you seem to get a good stash since the last time I was in. So maybe I'll get those for a future video and we'll talk about those and you'll see what they are. Hopefully you still got them because there was definitely some cool stuff there, especially on the Paul McCartney end. So of course when I did the Jude LP, I did mention I had a copy of this that I was going to do in kind of a recent vinyl find, but that would be the Julian Lennon Velotte. I hope I said that right. But yeah, there's the album. This was in a really good shape. I found this in a record store in Fargo, North Dakota. Pretty cool place, that one. I remember the name of it off the top of my head. Downtown Fargo, though. Seems like everything is just pretty much in the recently arrived bins there. They do got some sections for stuff, but you really got to dig through the bins there to find everything. But I every time I go there, I seem to find a nice treasure. One thing I've noticed with their stuff is it is a little more quality. Prices are reasonable. It seems like if there's supposed to be an inner sleeve, cool inner sleeve or any sort of inserts, usually their stuff has got that all in it. Speaking of the inner sleeve, though, of course, there is the one from Julian's album here. And take a look at the vinyl. It's, of course, on Atlantic Records. There's side one, side two. And very, very good vinyl here. I know I say this on all of them. It's sometimes on the camera, I think some of them are a little dirty. Sometimes the camera catches some scratches I don't even see. But yeah, this one looks to be super clean. And now I'll get into some Beatles. These are such a mixed bag. I don't remember where I picked them all up. I think a lot of these I did get at that place in Fargo. But like I said, I've been just trying to get all the Capitol albums on LP. And I've been trying to find both the mono and the stereo of everything. Once I find something I'm pretty satisfied with, if I got a good copy, I'm not going to go out and get every version of it. So if I get an original 60s version, great. If I get a 70s version, it's a good copy of that album, I'm going to stick with it. So this, I'm going to just kind of fly through a little. I'm just show you the albums quick and move on, not get too deep into the stories on everything. But the first one here is something new, and I'm kind of going in order of their release on these. I hope I'm holding these up right. I always notice I cut off the bottom here. And this one is a mono copy. And I do not believe it's in the original inner sleeve, so I'm not going to show you what I got here. It's just a white sleeve. I haven't checked this in Discogs yet either, but I do believe this is an original 60s copy. Of course, on that original Capitol Rainbow label there. Next one, I believe I got this at the same time. Also a mono copy. I got Beatles 65 here. Excellent album, just kind of a chopped down version of Beatles for Sale. Why they call it Beatles 65, and it was released in 1964. And it featured all music from the 64. I don't know. Again, I don't got the sleeve with this one either, but I do believe we are looking at a true vintage 60s edition on the Rainbow label there. And I totally forgot about this one. And this I also got at that same place in Fargo. And this one is in the shrink wrap. It was cut on the side. I didn't open it up, but it is in the shrink wrap. This is a copy of Beatles 6, a mono copy also. I believe I've got a stereo copy that I had found a while ago. So this one kind of completed my collection on that. Very cool. You can see there's a little bit of a price tag there yet. And considering it's in the shrink, there isn't even a generic sleeve with this one. But there's side 1 and side 2. So this is just sitting in the jacket. But hey, the jacket's got the shrink wrap on it. So, and this next one I did find at a thrift store in Bemidji, Minnesota. Really cool thrift store, a magical mystery tour. If you saw my video I did about my cousin giving me a bunch of records, he did have a copy of this in there too. That one a lot more beat up than this one. And this one's in pretty good shape. Not going to argue at all with this one. I believe, if memory serves me correct, all the pages are intact. All in there. I don't know how well you can see this, but yeah, it's all there. We'll kind of end it there. But yeah, I was very excited to find this one. There is the record. And this one is a 67, I believe, issue on the rainbow label again. Where, of course, that one that my cousin gave me was a 70s on the orange Capitol label. So the next one, again, I think I got this one also at that same place in Fargo. Showed this already in one of my earlier videos, but we'll show it again. Maybe somebody didn't see that video, so. And this is a recent find, of course, but the Beatles rock and roll music. And with The Strangest album cover and gatefold and everything, how any of this is related to the Beatles, I have not a clue. And this one's one of those where you got side 1 and then side 4. Of course, it being a double disc. And I'm not sure these are the correct inner sleeves, so I'm not going to talk too much on those past that. Show you disc 2 here quick. Suppose this would be the true next side, maybe. Well, side 2 and side 3 on this one. And for some reason, they put little check marks next to tracks on that one. I don't see that they did on the other side, though. Yeah, that's always interesting with used vinyl, kind of the different things you find on it like that, the life it lived before it got into your collection. Now I'll get into kind of some solo stuff. It seems like I had some more Paul McCartney stuff, but I think I've got it kind of mixed into my collection there. Yeah, I guess I'm not sure which ones were all got at that haul there, but I'll show you this one. It's a copy of Wink's Greatest. And there's the back. Of course, the spine. I'm in really good shape. I believe this is an original edition. It is missing the poster, but it does have the inner sleeve. But yeah, this one, of course, on the Capitol label. Looking in good shape. Missing the poster or not, it seemed to be a pretty good price, so that's why I picked it up. And this next one, getting into another Beatle here in their solo career. Haven't really got collecting too much of his stuff on vinyl yet, so I've been trying to pick up a few as I see them. Seems like between the place in Fargo and my 2 local record shops, I think I could put together his collection pretty easily. That would be George Harrison, and this one's a copy of Living in the Material World. Now, this one I did find at my other local record shop, one of the second one of the 2. I do remember picking this up there. As a matter of fact, let's see. I could tell between the 2 record shops which one I got it at, just by the smell usually. Because the other place, they sell a lot of incense and stuff, and it smells like incense in there, so you can really smell that in the records. The other one is a hot dog place also, so you can smell hot dogs. I've always joked about that. I can always tell the ones I got at Dog Mahal because they smell like hot dogs, and the ones at the other place because they smell like incense. But anyways, oh, and I forgot to show the gatefold here. But yeah, this one caught my eye. The price was right. Of course, we'll look at the disc here. An apple. I guess I'm not totally positive this brown inner sleeve is correct. And no, this doesn't really smell like hot dogs either. No, but that is a very eclectic record shop. Yeah, of course, I got gourmet like hot dogs there, comic books, the records. Pretty cool place, very cool people that run it. I always enjoy popping in. Even if I don't find anything there, I seem to always have a good conversation with them. So, very cool place. Next one here, another George Harrison, Cloud 9. This one I remember I got in the place in Fargo too. The price on it was just too good. The record looked like it was in too good a shape. I thought I better pick it up because I need to add to that George collection. This one is on the original sleeve. This one I got no doubt on. Of course, Dark Horse Records on this one. Getting down to the last couple here. These ones are back to Beatles, I guess. This next one kind of shocked me. This I found at kind of a, I guess they're a record shop. I guess it's another one kind of in our area. This is in East Grand Forks on the Minnesota side of my town. He's got trading cards and comic books and records, and I popped in there once just to look and found this, and I was kind of surprised to see a UK copy of it. Noticed right away it had the barcode, so I knew it wasn't an original. Obviously, not the flip backs on it either. So I figured it was a newer release, and sure enough, when I got home and did a little research on it, I think it came out in '93. It was reissued, and it is on the purple Capitol label. So this would have been, I know that they did do reissues when they did the CDs and that of the LPs, so I'd imagine that was kind of in those waves of those. Yeah, I picked that up. Of course, as everybody knows, Rubber Soul is my favorite album, and the price wasn't terrible on it. I don't know if I overpaid being that it is a more recent reissue, but it wasn't bad. I guess I think it was $20, so that's not terrible, I don't think, especially for your favorite album. I hadn't found a US version of it yet, and I was like, well, I really want a copy of this on vinyl, and I'll take a UK version, even if it's a reissue. So I was very happy to get that. And then this last one, this one's an 80s reissue. Can't remember the exact year, but of course the White Album, the Beatles. And this one I found in Minneapolis at Electric Fetus Records. I don't know, that one, I think it's got a little notoriety around the world. Of course, Prince kind of frequented that location, I believe, and I believe it was a place just days before he passed. He was in there buying some records, and I know they got a little national coverage on that based on that. But I always wanted to go check them out, so one of the last times I was in the cities, I did go in there, and yeah, I found this there. One thing that caught my attention on it was they didn't have a lot of Beatles stuff. I was expecting they'd have a fairly big Beatles section, but I asked somebody there and they said, yeah, it sells out as soon as they get it in, so they really don't have a Beatles section. And he said, just anything you find in the new arrivals, that's where you're going to find any Beatles. And I did see this there. It had everything with it, so that was something that kind of caught my attention with it. Now in these reissues, they really, I'll keep it like this because it goes upside down anyway. They had this kind of almost like in a poster. It is kind of perforated, so they're not the thick card like you got with the originals from the 60s. I don't even know what they did in the 70s, but there was the photos of them. Of course, the poster was in there too. I'm almost afraid to pull this out. Oh, not quite as thick as, I haven't seen an original one of this. Not quite as thick as the reissues though that came with the 2018 remixes and super deluxe sets. But there was the poster and the photo cards there, which I was happy to see they had included. I'll show you the vinyl here because what really caught my attention on it, knowing it was from the 80s and it was on the Rainbow Capitol label, which really caught my attention there. And I'm not entirely sure this sleeve is correct for it, but it's got a nice plastic lining in it. We'll look at the second disc here. And this double album they did right. You got side 1, side 2 on disc 1, and side 3 and side 4 on disc 2, as it should be. I've never understood that. I guess so you keep it spinning. But yeah, there were some of my more recent finds on Beatles vinyl and solo career vinyl. I just share those. One of these days, I think I am going to just go through and slowly kind of show my collection. I am going to be starting a new, I will talk about it here, I'm going to be starting a new feature. I've decided, as I'm sure everybody's kind of curious what's sitting up here, I'm going to start a new feature called What's on the Rack, or something like that. I'm still working on the title. I'll just show each section of my CD rack here and pull everything down and just talk about it. And I'm also going to do, for all my box sets out there, I'm going to do what's in the box. We'll get that little segment going too. So I'm just kind of showing the collection, showing everything there. Yeah, anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you like my finds there. Of course, again, I'll remind you, if you did like the video, please like and please comment. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. Anyways, I'm Beetle Dustino, signing out.